Let's get through the sprint. All right. Our next speaker. Wait, are we ready to go? Everything set up? Just
I think so.
Sure. Got you. See that? That's called learning. My brain AI is doing it, right? Pressed? That was good. I had a really nice conversation with him because I'm not feeling good about AI, but we gotta, grab it, use it, or I'm done. Anyways, so Julio Monzon is with over a decade of executive leadership experience. Julio grew his tech company into a multi-8-figure business. With 220 team members, he's recognized as one of the fastest growing companies in North America for 3 consecutive years. A nomad entrepreneur since 2013, Julio has traveled to over 60 countries while pioneering fully remote teams. More recently, he served as CEO of a fast-growing remote-first B2B video editing company, driving 45% year-over-year growth since he took over. He is currently an executive in transition looking for his next move in the AI space. Let's give the warmest welcome possible in existence to Julio Monzon.
Hello. 7 years ago, I did a talk 20 minutes from this exact location in Athens. And I claimed that these publications had all these articles about how there's going to be 1 billion digital nomads by the year 2035. It's a lot of SIM cards. I don't know exactly what that number is, but I've definitely contributed to that total. So, as the intro said, I've run a couple of big 7-figure and multi-8-figure businesses. All of them have been completely remote. None of them have had a single dime of investment. The most recent one had about 80 remote workers, and as they said, the first one had about 250. And I'm here to tell you that business is hard. Businesses are difficult to scale. Businesses are nothing compared to an unexpected strike at the airport in Athens, Greece. I got here on Wednesday at about 1 a.m., so Thursday morning. And I landed, I tried to get my Uber, didn't work. I tried another app, it didn't work. I went outside to line up for a taxi, and there was a literal line for the taxi, just for the taxi guy to tell everybody, please take the bus, we're on strike. So me and about 60, 70, I'm not kidding, people who had no idea this was happening, got on this bus at 1:30 in the morning on Wednesday, technically Thursday, and we drive an hour to central Athens, not knowing where they're going to drop us off exactly, and not knowing how far that location is going to be from our respective hotels and Airbnbs. My phone was at 5% battery. So we get there, I quickly Google it, and I say, okay, great, my Airbnb is about a 30-minute walk, not a big deal, right? I start walking, my phone dies, of course, and I go into the closest hotel I see, and I'm like, hey, do you have any rooms? Because honestly, I'm just exhausted at this point, right? Nope, he proceeds to call 6 other hotels. Nope, all full. So I charge my phone for 30 minutes, I figure it out, walk to my Airbnb, and get home at about 3:45 a.m. And this got me thinking, I've been to Athens, Greece like 10 times. I love it here so much. I've done speaks, I've done talks and everything. But I'm like, this never happened, which reminded me of one very important thing I learned over the years. The only constant thing in business is change. The only constant thing in business is change. So we're talking about all these AI revolution, all these different things. Expect your business to change. If things are good, great. Expect that to change positively or negatively, or your industry, or that sort of thing. So just tying that story, that was a last-minute addition to this, but I found it relevant. Disclaimer. This talk is not about raising money. Again, I've never done that. I could probably figure it out, but if you're here trying to see like how to talk to VCs and that sort of thing, I've never done that. Also, I'm going to give you all broad strokes. I've listened to talks here. You guys are anywhere near from like startup to growth to growing. It's impossible for me in 25 minutes to give you all sorts of tips to grow your businesses at different stages. But I'm going to give you the broad strokes that I've learned over the years and that I'll think will be very valuable to you. So, really quickly, my name is Julio. I was born in Peru. That's why my name is Julio. And I grew up in Canada, so that's why I speak English like this. I often get Julio from Canada. I don't get it. I'm glad we got that out of the way. My tech company grew over 11 years. It's still around. I'm still an executive. I just wanted to do different stuff. And it had about 200, 250 different people from about 5 different continents. However, 11 years ago, my company lost $2.2 million to advertising fraud, which pretty much felt like this. So, obviously, I'm up here. We made up for it. It was not easy. Through all the awards of fastest growing companies in North America and things like that, we got through it. But through all the media, all the positive things you read about, oh, this guy's taking a stage, I want to listen to him, all of that, through all of that, behind the scenes, the real reason we got through everything that we've gone through is culture. Company culture is interesting. Relatively speaking, you can build a sales team relatively quickly. You can build a product, a technology, relatively quickly. Culture is something that not only is difficult to architect, but it takes years to actually define, to actually come through fruition and define, and it's even more difficult to maintain as you get more and more people. It's very, very difficult to maintain. And it's difficult to protect as you hire more people that come from different company cultures, right? For example, this is a team member. This is about 2017, I believe. We had a company retreat in Asia. So after workshops, after great collaboration, all this work, what happened was we went to a club because we want to have fun too, right? And she whips out her laptop and starts working at like 2 a.m. Asia time. I would never ask her to do this. In fact, I told her to stop. And I said, "What are you doing?" And I'll never forget this moment. She looked at me and she said, "Oh, it's 9 a.m. in New York. I just have a couple of things to take care of, and then I'll be back. And I was just so surprised. I was like, what did we do right that someone cares this much about our business to do this, right? I can't make her do this. This is something that the environment that we've created as business owners yielded. So the problem is this. I'm writing a book to obliterate all of this, but you get these famous people, right, saying remote work doesn't work. Remote work is inefficient, it's a better productivity in person, blah, blah, blah. I'm living proof that they're wrong. There are bigger businesses than mine that are also proof that they're wrong. But of course, when you're not paying attention to company culture and you don't really know how to handle having been in office forever and moving towards a remote work environment, I don't care how much money you put into expert HR people to try to get this done, you're not going to know what to do. And that's their problem. Back to this, more problems. Company culture exists in different ways. So these trust, teamwork, accountability, that sort of thing looks great on a poster in your office. It looks great on maybe some of the pitch decks that you send to investors. I promise these are our values. This is what we feel like. But unless your people feel this legitimately, they'll say, yeah, sure, yeah, I'm the best team member, of course. You're not going to tell your boss you're not the best team member, right? This is all fake. Unless you lead by example as an executive, unless you create an environment where this is actually true, this is all bullshit. Complete BS, right? So you can't tell someone how to feel. It doesn't matter. You can't order someone to be a great teammate. They have to actually feel that. They'll do it for maybe a little bit, commitment over compliance, right? That's the kind of leadership that you should be thinking of. Commitment takes longer. Culture takes longer. Compliance is a little bit more direct, but it's very short-term, very short-lived. It's no way to run a business, to be honest. So how do you do that, right? Mission and vision. Whatever stage in business that you're in, okay, please take this to heart. And people get this confused all the time. Mission is not vision. Vision is not mission. They are related, absolutely, 100%, but they're not interchangeable and they're not the same thing. This is the difference. I'll go deeper into this. So the purpose, the why, so purpose and vision can kind of be together, but the purpose is the why, super important. Vision is the what, the mission is how you're gonna do it, okay? The purpose is the why. So what do you get up at night? What do you wake up in the morning for, right? To make money? No, I don't care what you think. That is not the underlying reason, and if you think that's the reason, you really need to dig deeper to find the why, okay? For example, so the deeply held beliefs. This is a company that I was leading. They're a video editing company, okay? Nothing, if you just looked at them, oh, it's a company that edits videos, okay? However, this why came from the deep-rooted hate of the flaky freelancer video editor that the founder had. So I sat down, I was like, why did you create this business? You could have created any business, right? Why did you create this business? And he had this issue with, there was freelancers either that were really good at video editing, so really good artists, because it's an art, but they were horrible at meeting deadlines, getting back to you, customer service, setting expectations. Plus, they had all these other clients that they're working with. You're one of them, right? Or they were really good at meeting deadlines and talking, but they were bad editors. So it would keep him up at night, and he wouldn't understand why both weren't possible. So what did he do? He created a business through this. And his vision was enabling his why to enable a future where top quality videos are made with complete confidence and ease. Like every client will have the complete confidence in us. You want to double your video production? Let's do it. We can do it. Freelancer can't, right? It's just an ache that you need to look for in your why. You're not just some simple video editing company, okay? Mission is the how, okay? How are you gonna do this? So the purpose, the vision is the what, is the why, okay? Dig deep. And the mission is the how. How are you gonna do this? For example, so how are you gonna enable the future where top quality videos are made with complete confidence and ease? We're gonna assemble a team of experts who communicate proactively, work efficiently, and ensure top quality for our clients, right? This is very, very important to differentiate the vision and the mission. This is how you get the best talent. This is how you communicate with higher level clients. This is how you get more clients. Really trying to find out what your mission and vision is. Some other examples. Apple. These are old, but I love them, so I'm just going to use it. Apple. To make the best products on earth and to leave the world better than we found it. My Lord. To leave the world better than we found it. You're not just a computer company. You don't just make iPhones. You don't just have Apple Pay. This is why we exist. This is what gets the best talent. This is why engineers go work here and not at some bank that's just a bank that needs software engineering, okay? How are they gonna do that? We're gonna bring the best user experience to its customers through innovative hardware, software, and services. Google, to provide access to the world's information in one click. Like, that's what gets you up in the morning. That's what it is. How are they gonna do that? Organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been through this exercise, so I know. These are simple sentences. And when you're looking for your mission and your vision, you should have very clear sentences, both internally for your team and externally for your customers. This, I guarantee you, took hours of executives reflecting, who are we? What do we want to be? Who are we really? Rejecting, putting things together, crossing out words, hours. So these sentences can be this clear. I know I've done it multiple times. That's the kind of reflection you need to have, because culture, over everything, of course, sales, marketing, product, technology, hiring people, finances, profit and loss, all of that's so important, okay? But at the bottom line is culture. Culture is everything. That's the root of everything. Just a quick thing personally. What we used to do is we would filter our candidates. I don't care if you were an engineer at Google who wanted to work with us, or you were the best salesman for our competitor. But what we wanted is to filter you for cultural fit. We would do a specific cultural fit interview, and if and only if you pass that cultural fit interview, then we would go into, okay, what about your skills, coding interviews, things like that, right? This does a couple of things. One, obviously it protects who we bring into our business. And two, it helps us reflect every single time, what is our culture? What is our subculture? Because the culture of the tech team isn't the same as the culture of the sales team. It's very, very different, right? How is it? Do we need to just internally because it grows? Do we need to hire this person, et cetera, et cetera? We were bit because we hired an excellent engineer that just ruined our culture. It takes one bad apple to ruin the whole bunch. Remember that. Okay, actionables. The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. These are incredible books. So 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. There's 5 dysfunctions if you work in a team that if you tackle those 5 dysfunctions, you will grow forever. But you really need to tackle those 5 dysfunctions. It's normal, it happens. People are different, people are complicated, etc., right? Start with why. Obviously, there's a huge, very popular YouTube video from Simon Sinek on the why, the theory of why. The book goes even deeper. The last one, I'll pause for this because I'm serious. We built a multi-8-figure company based on the sales advice of this book, Never Split the Difference. Okay, it's by a former FBI negotiator who turned businessman, and he takes the skills of negotiating from the FBI to sales. It's incredible. I built internally the sales team based on this book, and this works for enterprise sales to mid-market sales to like small business sales. Clicker. Okay, what would I do differently? I'm a tech entrepreneur. Of course, I'm going to mention AI. Of course, I did not have AI during my last 12 years of this entire journey like we have it today. So I can't go into, I think I have like a minute or something. I can't go into everything that I would do differently based on what we have today. One thing I will say, if you haven't heard about this, this is huge. So it's basically AI SEO or AEO, LEO, whatever you want to call it. Traditionally, SEO is how do I optimize my website, blogs, content, et cetera, to rank highest on Google search? There is a completely different ecosystem now. If I say, ask ChatGPT or Gemini, oh, I want to travel to Athens, Greece. I'm doing a talk. Then I want to go to some islands. Where do I stay? Where do I eat? What do I do? Suggest stuff. If you want your business to show up on ChatGPT, Gemini, it's called AI SEO. I call it AEO. But that needs to be optimized. Talk to me later how to do that. I don't have time right now, but it's huge. It's the future, okay? Okay, last thing I'll say. These two are actors. This is Andy Sandberg and this guy. Forgot his name. But they were both auditioning for a very popular TV show in North America called Saturday Night Live. So they're both auditioning, and Andy Sandberg's looking at this guy, and he's got a huge box of props ready for his interview, his audition, right? And the other guy's standing over here with nothing, right? So they both do their auditions, they both make it, they both go on and have successful careers. Bill Hader, I remember his name, years later, runs into Andy Sandberg and says, hey, do you remember our Saturday Night Live audition? Do you remember that? And he says, yeah. He says, man, I was looking at you with your box of stuff, and I was saying, I come so unprepared. I'm not going to get this audition. This guy came way more prepared to me. I'm not going to get this. And Andy Sandberg turns and looks at him and said, are you kidding me? I was looking at you like, man, this guy's so confident. I have all this box of stuff. Why did I bring this stuff like an idiot? This is going to look so stupid. I'm not going to get this, right? Both had successful careers, very, very successful careers. My point is, don't compare yourself to anybody, okay? Don't compare yourself to anybody. Everybody's got your own journey. It's a beautiful, beautiful journey. Enjoy yours and rock and roll. Thank you. Questions? Yeah, go ahead.
That was a great talk, man. Thanks so much. How do you specifically screen for culture? Are there any specific questions? Because obviously everyone's performative during an interview and they're not going to be themselves. You can't really assess them that much within a 30-minute time frame. But are there any tactics that you would use, or would you just ask them straight questions, like to really tease out like this person's a fit or it isn't, or you just use intuition? Like, can you go in a little bit more deeply to that?
So the question is, what do I use specifically for cultural interviews? It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. So absolutely you need intuition. We have some guiding questions to figure out, do you know how you work the most productive? Because we let anybody work anywhere. And we ask them specific questions based on the subculture of that team currently. So it's changing, it's ever evolving, right? But I have a whole list of guiding questions, but it comes with experience, really. And it comes from doing it over and over again. So there's not, I can share that with you after, no problem. But yeah, for sure.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a personal question. I'm curious about your why, how, what. Your personal one.
My personal one.
Yeah.
So you're catching me at a very interesting time right now because I'm not really working. I haven't been working for 4 months. I'm in this executive and transition phase, so I'm actually trying to find that. But I'll give you a story just to give you something. My company was super successful, 8 figures, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? The reason I became a board member executive that still cares was I asked my founders one question. It's like, okay, when we get to 100 million, that was like our 10-year goal, what then? And they gave me the worst answer, which was, oh, then we go to 1 billion. And the journey and the health risks to do that was not something that I wanted to do. So that was not my why anymore. I took it as far as I could, but I'm trying to find mine right now. So if you guys want to have conversations to help me out, that'd be great. Do you have a question? Connect with me, LinkedIn, Instagram. I normally don't open my Instagram, but I will. So if you want to connect, message me. Let's talk during lunch. Let's talk during drinks. I'll be here till next week. Happy to help you guys specifically. Okay? Thank you very much.